Hello buddy and welcome to episode 18 of Brunswald. In today's episode we are going to be finishing up this whole marina area and this whole ocean side or seaside for Brunswald that we started in episode 10. So yeah, we'll be completing this area besides actually one spot, and I wanted to quickly talk about this spot, and you will see a separate cinematics before the actual cinematics for that little spot that we'll be leaving in this episode. And I didn't really know what to do there, so I thought I'd just leave that's up to you guys to decide. So go to that part of the video, obviously when you're done watching this, and have a look there at that cinematic, and maybe you get some ideas of what we should have there, and make sure to suggest those down below in the comment section, or if you don't have any idea, make sure to upvote some comments with some suggestions that you like. So yeah, I wanted to leave that spot up to you guys to decide what you think we should have there, so make sure to leave some suggestions for that. And alright, so let's get into what we're doing in this episode. So right now I'm making this, I guess, dock area, or like a canal it sort of looks like, but it actually isn't a canal. And yeah, I wanted to do something like this, because this is, I guess, where maybe some old cargo ships and stuff would have been back in the day. Because in case you watched episode 10, the whole idea with this area of Brunswald is that this was the old port back in the day before they built the whole brand new one that we've been working on for the latest episodes. So this whole area here was where they actually had all of the cargo area or cargo harbor stuff for Brunswald back in the day. So I thought it would be cool to make some sort of a dock area with the water going in a little bit like that, where that would have been probably an area where ships would dock, and warehouses and just industry around that little place would have been, and the same for that other small port area that we made in episode 10. Sort of the same idea, but this is more of like a smaller canal, I guess. But obviously this whole area got, I guess, demolished, all of the industry, because they didn't want to have industry in the middle of the city center, I guess. And yeah, they got rid of everything and moved everything out to the new port area that we've been working on for the last episodes. And they just built up a lot of new development with all of these contemporary buildings, which is what I'm using here. And yeah, they just sort of, I guess, remade this whole area and made it into residential areas and shopping areas and stuff. Mostly residential, because all of these buildings are like apartments and stuff. But still like a nice, I guess, small leisure port, I guess you could say, with a few yachts and stuff like that, and just a nice seaside walk area along the water there, which turned out really nice, I think. And yeah, just a lot of new developments and a lot of, I guess, green spaces as well. I wanted to try and add a lot of like planters and stuff. And also a lot of underground parking. I'm using that spiral underground parking asset by someone that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, that one is really good, because you don't obviously want to have like a ton of parking spots here. I will be adding a big parking spot next to a hotel off camera. That we will be adding that hotel pretty soon in the time-lapse, but you won't see the parking lot for that be built in this time-lapse, but you'll see it in the cinematics. So yeah, my whole idea here for like the parking spots is just that they're underground, which I think makes a lot of sense. Alright, so here is this sort of sea walk, I guess you could say, where the people can just walk along these docks here, where I guess rich people would dock their yachts and stuff. So I did add a few of those big boats there, which I think turned out pretty cool. And yeah, just a nice area where people can walk, and I added some outside serving areas and stuff, those new ones by Mr. Miyagi, that are like already pre-detailed. I don't know if you've seen those, but I've downloaded a lot of those, and they've come very useful for doing this kind of stuff with a lot of outside serving areas. And yeah, I just think they work really nice. They look very good. And I also really like these new planters by Journable, which I think are for his like broadcasting asset building. those planters were made for that building, but I actually used it like this, just in a totally different location. And I just really like those planters. I do really like the shape of them. It's nice having some different kind of interesting shapes instead of just having normal rectangles and stuff like that. And yeah, they just turned out really nice. And now we're making this pedestrian bridge here. So this is pretty interesting. First, I actually just downloaded some, I think it was some Japanese pedestrian bridge, but I just didn't really think it fit very well. It felt, I don't know, a little bit too old for an area like this. So I decided to go ahead and create my own custom one with these like fence networks by Ronix. Which I think are for the railways and stuff, but yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think they're for that, and I decided to just use these for an actual pedestrian bridge. And I downloaded some invisible pathways and just put them like this, and I raised up the pathways to sort of fit to this bridge here. And obviously this bridge will be at the end of that little like dock area, the water that goes in a little bit there, as you can see that I'm placing right here. And yeah, I just wanted to have a bridge there because we won't really have any like big boats in there. There's just smaller ones that can definitely fit underneath that bridge. And I thought it would be nice because that would just sort of add to, I guess, that ocean side walkway, or yeah, ocean side. I don't know what you would call it. Just the place there where people walk along the water there. And I just thought it would be nice to have a bridge there so they can just keep going instead of having to you know, make a detour and stuff. So yeah, I thought it made sense to add a nice pedestrian bridge here, and I think it looks pretty cool having it there as well. And I made sure that the boats I placed in here all could fit underneath that bridge, so it, I guess, looks more realistic that way. And now I'm adding a lot of these, what are they called? I think they're called like pier, or like pier, those pier assets or dock assets, something like that. Those wooden ones that I do really like, and I wanted to have those there because those other docks and the water was just too high for these smaller boats. So added these ones here, and I think that turned out nice because there's a little bit of like area or space for just boat related things to be on that like tree dock or tree pier, whatever you want to call it. Instead of having it be up there on the asphalt where people walk and stuff. So they sort of have their separate areas for boat related stuff down there, I guess we could assume. And yeah, there are these ladders that sort of take people down to where these boats are. And I was first thinking that I should make some type of stair going down to these. But I don't know, I couldn't really get it to work. I couldn't really find any good stairs that would work for these wooden pier things, and I ended up just putting those ladders there, and I think that's fine because like if you own a boat there and you want to get down to it, I don't think there's any problem with going down like a stair a few steps, because you know there won't really be any like normal like tourists and stuff going down there. There really isn't any reason for them to be down there, so I definitely think a ladder is fine for the boat owners. And now I'm just placing a lot of these outside serving areas by Mr. Miyagi, which I think looks really nice. And I just would sort of think that this whole area here is pretty wealthy, so yeah, there's a lot of nice restaurants and stuff along this water here. And yeah, this would just be a pretty wealthy part of town, I would assume. And then just adding more of these awesome shaped planters, which I really like, and I'll be adding much more of those in this episode. But we're sort of at the 10-minute mark now, so I'm gonna leave you with some music as usual. And yeah, enjoy the time-lapse and some music, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So right here I'm putting down this San Francisco studio apartment building. I can't really remember the name. But I thought this would fit very well as a hotel, because I wanted to have a smaller hotel as well here by this little, I guess, dock area. And this will actually be one of the 3 hotels we will have in this area. So I made that large one, the Postilion from, I think it's either Rotterdam or Amsterdam, that building. So yeah, I made that into like a Marriott hotel, put some signs for that, and then we also have this one, which is just gonna be like a generic hotel. I just put a sign that says hotel, so it's no specific brand or anything like that. And then we'll be using the pretty new asset by King Leno, the Narvik Scandic Hotel, which I just really wanted to use. I pretty much downloaded that asset like right away as he released it and put it into Brunswald, because I have seen him tweeted about that on Twitter, or posted some screenshots on that hotel building, and I actually thought I would put down that one where the Postilion building is. But he hadn't released it when I started working on this episode, so I used that other one. But then he released it, and I still really wanted to use it, so I put another, I guess, high-rise building, which I think is fine. I definitely think it's fine. Maybe it's a bit too many hotels, but I don't know. I like it, and I guess Brunswald would be a pretty touristy city. And also those hotels would probably have like conference areas and stuff inside them, and probably a bit of offices as well. So we could imagine that it's not only like all of the building is not only a hotel, there will be other stuff as well. Yeah, so now I'm working on this little small back yard here for these people living in this, or in these buildings here. And I kind of really like those buildings, like they're very small, and I think they're from the Netherlands somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're by Journable. And I thought they looked cool. I used them somewhere else in this dock area or marina area in this episode as well. But I really like how they look. They sort of have that like older European building vibe, but they still are like very modern, which I think is pretty cool. I kind of like that. And yeah, but then I'm just putting down more outside serving areas along here. This side of where these boats are turned out a little bit like wider than the other one, and I actually think it turned out fine, because on the other one I didn't put any like outside serving areas, because there simply wasn't enough space, and also those outside serving areas are a little bit weird if you don't have like perfect terrain for them. So I ended up putting them on the other side there instead, which I think turned out pretty nice. But I'm using a lot of these really awesome roads here. These are fairly new on the workshop. I can't remember who made them, but yeah, I really like them. They're very nice. I love the textures and all of those, I guess, cobblestone decals. But they have that red shade in the middle, and then some gray for the parking spots, and I just think they look really nice and modern, and I just really like them a lot. And I use them quite a bit in this area, and I think they are very nice for an area like this. I feel like those kind of roads would be in a modern developed area like this. So yeah, I just really like how they look, and when you put some planters and trees and stuff around them, I think they look even nicer. And also when you get some cars parking there, it just all comes together very nice. And there actually is another version of this road that has like planters and trees built into it from the beginning, but I wanted to have my own planters and trees, and I didn't really want the game to decide exactly where the planters should be, so I'd rather just spend I guess a few more props on that than just having them in totally random spots that the game picks out. So that's why I'm not using that other version of them, and I don't really know what type of trees you get in that version, but yeah. Anyway, so now I'm putting down more of these planters that I said I was going to use more in this episode, and I think this little back area here between these buildings turned out really nice with all of these different shapes for these like planters and stuff. I think it turned out really nice, and I definitely want to use these planters in a lot more areas, and yeah, I just really like the look of that. And I placed a wall there facing that spiral underground parking, because I wanted to put some outside serving areas there as well. And I guess it wouldn't be super nice to sit there and eat dinner and just look down at the underground parking. So I decided to just put up a wall there and put some trees and planters around it. And I think it turned out way nicer to have a wall there, just sort of, I guess, making it so that the people don't have to look down to the underground parking. And using even more of these planters here, which, I don't know, I just really love them. And yeah, I guess a major part of this episode is just using these planters everywhere. But yeah, I think it turned out nice. But I'm gonna leave you with some music now for the final minutes, I don't know. And then you will see that little cinematic showing off that little open area that we left for this episode. So make sure to watch that and leave some suggestions for what you think we should have there. So yeah, that will come right before the actual cinematics for this video. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. So if you have, make sure to leave a like, and also if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, the usual stuff there, updates, screenshots. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Have a great day, take care, and bye-bye.